Good day, truth seekers, and welcome to Truthcast TV. If you're new to this channel, click that subscribe button, and if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. The more subscribers and the more thumbs up, the more eyes are on the truth. I'm going to show y'all an interview today with, well, not an interview, but a clip today of Kayla McKinney at a White House briefing earlier. And the way she just deals with the press, I just love it. I mean, you know, she's up there like a boss, and she just, you know, she tells the press like it is, like nobody else I've ever seen do. And I love it because they deserve every bit of it and even a lot more than that. All they can focus on is trying to hurt Donald Trump's chances of getting reelected. They don't give a shit if almost 1,300 people have died in Chicago since the beginning of the year, if hundreds of them, being little kids, anywhere from 6 months old to 16 years old, are getting killed because of the gun violence that has just got worse and worse and worse and worse in Democratic-run cities like Chicago, New York, just to name a few. Instead of talking about that, instead of bringing up them issues, the media, well, they would rather bring up other issues. Let's just take a look right here at a clip from Blaze TV of Kayla McKinney telling the press like it is. And I love it.
What I would have to say on COVID. And finally, I'd end with this. You know, I was asked probably 12 questions about the Confederate flag. This president's focused on action, and I'm a little dismayed that I didn't receive one question on the deaths that we got in this country this weekend. I didn't receive one question about New York City shootings doubling for the third straight week, and over the last 7 days, shootings skyrocket by 142%. Not one question. I didn't receive one question about 5 children who were killed. And I'll leave you with this remark by a dad. It broke my heart. A dad of an 8-year-old lost in Atlanta this weekend. They say Black Lives Matters. You killed a child. She didn't do nothing to nobody, was his quote. We need to be focused on securing our streets, making sure no lives are lost, because all Black Lives matter. That of David Dorn and that of this 8-year-old girl. Thank you.
Now here's what the press, here's what the media, the lamestream media, the fake news, here's the questions that they would rather ask. And here's what they would rather the country be focused. This is what they would rather the American citizens be focused on instead of the real issues.
I wanted to say, first off, point of fact, Bubba Wallace did not make any kind of false report. And I'm wondering, in general, why the president thinks that issue is worth his time and focus right now in the midst of a deadly pandemic. And then also, you've said he has no opinion on the Confederate flag. Why can't this White House unambiguously state whether or not it supports displays of the Confederate flag?
No, I said...
and Confederate monuments, which are much more a part of this question than Gandhi.
Yeah, I said that, you know, his tweet was not to indicate approval or disapproval of that particular policy of NASCAR. It was an aggregate to stand against the rush to judgment, to call something a hate crime before the facts were out, when clearly the media was wrong about this, when clearly, I never said that. Perhaps one of the reporters said that, but I certainly did not. But he believes that we
I love her. I really do.
should be that the truth matters, and that the truth was the FBI did a thorough investigation, and what was concluded that there was no hate crime here, and we should all be grateful for that, grateful that NASCAR fans came together in a great display of American unity around Mr. Wallace, but then we should also be equally unequivocal about the truth of this situation here, and that most Americans are great, hardworking people. Yes.
See, the lamestream media, the fake news, would rather focus on Bubba Wallace and the Confederate flag instead of the real issues. They'll do anything to hurt Donald Trump's chances on getting reelected. Even start a pandemic. Just saying. Even crash the greatest economy in the world. make millions and millions and millions and millions of Americans suffer and lose their jobs, and hundreds of thousands of small businesses lose their livelihoods. They would rather do that than to see Donald Trump get reelected.
Cultural stuff worth his time and
Yes.
focus during the pandemic.
Yes, he's focused on two things at once, something we're all capable of doing.
And what about an
Yeah.
unambiguous statement on the Confederate flag? Are we capable of doing that?
Look, the president has made clear he was not taking a position one way or the other in that tweet.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks, Barry. Two quick questions, if I may. Does the president support the Cleveland Indians and the football team here in Washington, considering changing their names?
I haven't spoken to the president on that.
And the other question, who came up with the list of historical figures that the president wants honored in his in this garden of statues that he put out this executive order about? Who came up with the list of people to be included there?
So I don't know exactly who came up with that list. I can ask about it, but it's a pretty extraordinary list of people. I think we can all agree on the fact that great American heroes are people like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington and Martin Luther King Jr. These are incredible men and women in our history, Susan B. Anthony and Billy Graham. So I think we can all pretty much widely acknowledge that these are American heroes.
And I mean, there you have it. That is what the media would rather focus on than the real issues. And I think it's just disgusting. That's why I haven't watched, unless I'm watching CNN or MSNBC, CBS, ABC, any of these news channels. The only time I watch it is if I'm doing a video on it for my channel. But I haven't even watched my local news in 3 or 4 years, because I am so sick and tired of their left-wing, radical, libtard agenda. I am so tired of it. And before we go, I'm going to show y'all the most epic interview I have pretty much ever seen. This guy lays out exactly what has been going on in America for the past 20 plus years, like nobody I've ever seen or heard in a 5-minute interview. Let's check it out. I believe y'all will like this.
Zoe here, who has an interview with a Trump supporter. Zoe?
Thank you, Jordan. Yes, I just finished having a great conversation with Steven here.
Yes,
Steven,
yes.
he is a native to Kansas City.
Bear Man.
What they call Bear Man. He is actually here in Oklahoma. He mentioned to me earlier how he came in with a limo.
Yeah, with
a whole limo. Tell me a little bit about it.
27 feet of winning, baby. That's what I'm talking about. 4 bones on 100 spokes, large and in charge, big cars and movie stars.
Came in style. In style.
Sex appeal.
In style. So, Stephen, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me, when did you become a Trump supporter, and what drew you to him, and what were you always a conservative, Republican? Tell me.
Yeah, I walked away from the Republicans back in 2006. Once we gave them a trifecta from 04 to 06, they spent like drunken sailors, and they became, basically Democrats. So I walked away from them back then. Then they, half the country's wealth was stolen in broad daylight. September of 09, nobody goes to jail except Bernie Madoff, and he was stealing from his own people. Then, of course, they ushered in Obama to normalize Marxism in the United States of America, teeing it up for Hillary to do us in. You think it'd be common sense you wouldn't vote for a guy named Obama for president of the United States, particularly since that wasn't even his real name, but,
Well, thank you for sharing that. One more question for you too. Where do you stand with all the issues that are taking place in today? Or I should say more recently, with the whole BLM movement, the whole police, anti-police, anti-government, almost basically. Where do you stand with all that?
Well, the thing is that, if you're going to burn down cities and defund the police, you're no friend of ours. These people are the same people that rigged an election, rigged an investigation, and rigged an impeachment process against the American people, and they lost all 3. They voted for a guy named Obama not once but twice, and he stole everything. That's why they were down on Epstein Island raping and eating those babies down there. Just look at the flight logs. They all knew who he was, what he did, where he did it. That's why they got on his plane to fly down there and do it with them. That's what the real problem is. It's pedophilia, and as soon as everybody finds out that all these people are pedophiles, that's when the party really begins.
Yes, we got to expose them for who they really are and give people the truth instead of continuing.
$5,000 worth of hot dogs. Please explain that to me. It's in their own emails.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I had one question for you. Why do you choose today not to wear a mask?
Well, the reason why I don't wear a mask is because it's not easy being a trendsetter. People think it's easy. But it's not. I mean, it's a hoax. 99.7% survival rate. Are you kidding me? I mean, you've got Bill Gates running around like a psychopath trying to cram his vaccine down my throat, and I'm doing just fine without it, Bill. Didn't you go down to Epstein Island yourself? Epstein and Weinstein just doesn't sound like a Presbyterian problem to us.
Well, thank you for sharing that. But, of course, that does not go against the basic safety procedures that we should be doing at a daily basis, washing your hands, staying at least as far away as possible.
If you took that mask off, I'd make out with you.
Well, anyway, Stephen, it was so great talking with you, and thank you so much for your time. And do you have anything else you want to say maybe to other Trump supporters who are watching who can't be out here?
Absolutely. Stars and bars, red, white, and blue home team, man. It's Trump 2020. They're throwing an octogenarian at us, struggling with dementia, trying to hide liquor on his breath, dealing with a son who just got a stripper pregnant down in Arkansas, cheating on his dead brother's wife.
Well, Stephen, again, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. You have a blessed day. Well, he had a lot to say, and
that was an awesome interview, man. I like that dude. He should definitely start him a YouTube channel. Oh, well. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I got more content coming this week, so stay tuned, stay safe, stay woke. God bless, and I'm out.